彼女がいるのに、他の女の子に告白されたら、どうする?
I'm not usually one to be watching seasonal anime. I'll usually only be watching a couple at max, or maybe a few more if a variety of particularly good shows I'm interested in are showing. In fact, my first seasonal actually was Rent a Girlfriend, so take that as you will. With that being said, the only anime that I'm actually caught up to this season is the topic of today's video, a complete dumpster fire through and through. So here's why I think you should consider watching Girlfriend, Girlfriend. With this channel so far, I've taken a very varied look at anime, from a mystery and supernatural masterpiece, to casual gambling entertainment, to now, trash rom-com. It may surprise you that I'm actually particularly fond of the genre, and that's what drew me to Girlfriend Girlfriend initially. I'll waste no more time getting straight into it. Like with most harem, we have to have some plot setup that makes no realistic sense, completely destroys its characterization, and makes for some entertaining moments on our screen. Our setup here is a standard anime high school relationship. Well, actually not so standard for the genre until you've had about 3 seasons of build-up, several confession blocks, and the overwhelming disappointment when your chosen best girl cries because it's unfair in a trash show anyway, you never actually liked it, you make several angry tweets, get enraged at people whose girl won because they have shit taste anyway, before rating it a 10 out of 10 on my anime list and finally collapsing of exhaustion. Phew, I think I needed to let that out. Returning from that tangent, Naoya is a high school boy in a happy and fulfilled relationship with Saki, a cute and popular girl. It was just a normal high school relationship. Until it wasn't. Naoya gets confessed to by a separate girl, Nagisa, who reveals she's had a huge crush on him and essentially dedicated her life to becoming his bride. Naoya is understandably rather a little bit confused, but similarly heartwarmed, and comes up with the worst idea of his entire life. To time his girlfriend. But no, he's not just a regular buffoon. No, he goes to get Saki's consent first. And at the end of a very confusing and rollercoaster of a first episode, she for some reason agrees after some persuasion, and the harem begin to live together, which apparently the parents are just okay, whatever. So there's the setup to our story. Does it sound like a complete trashy dumpster fire? Yes? Well, that's because it is. I've got no retort. But that's what makes it so damn watchable and entertaining. Especially in anime though, comedy is a very subjective topic, but this show, to me, can be hilarious. It doesn't rely on anything new or groundbreaking, rather just relies on harem tropes to use as a springboard for its comedy. That might be off-putting to fans of the genre who are already familiar with their tropes, or conversely, people who despise it, who hate the tropes, but it also utilises satirisation and parodying of the genre to do the same. Usually I'll talk about the flaws of the show and who I wouldn't recommend it to near the end of the video, but I felt like that was the perfect segue into any potential drawbacks that I, or other people I think, might have with the show. If you don't find trashy anime like this entertaining, and you need at least one saving grace to be able to enjoy a show like this, chances are you aren't going to like this. For example, in the quintessential quintuplets, it might initially be a typical harem, but it eventually divulges into a character-based drama that still retains its comedy elements. But it's okay if you're not going to like it. There are plenty of shows this season that I'm definitely not caught up on, that definitely provide what you're looking for. But for those of us who just can't get enough of our awful taste in anime, let's continue. The characters are relatively simple, so I won't spend too long dwelling on them. Naoya is a typical manga protagonist. I'm still not sure whether we're meant to love him, or hate him, or both, but maybe that's the point. He's serviceable, and he's so dense that the plot can continue to get wilder and wilder. Saki is the peak of human development and the apex of our species, that's kind of enough said. Speaking of apex, Mangaka is a semi-popular variety streamer and me-tuber who takes on the role of tsundere. Nagisa is the one that started the whole debacle and remains a character so uninteresting even by this show's standards due to her constant pandering to Naoya or pretty much any person she's with. And she never has an opinion that's her own for some reason. And the fourth girl has kind of yet to be introduced so far. The art and animation here is done by Tezuka Studios, who worked on the first season of Quintessential Quintuplets. The style they take here is very different actually, and it looks quite generic. This isn't a gripe due to it being a harem show, just something I thought that I should note. I usually don't talk about voice acting, which is a shame as I think it's an underappreciated part of the production process as of late, especially in these sorts of shows where it's absolutely necessary for our enjoyment. The voice work in this show makes me just that little more invested than if I was reading the manga. We have Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen, Nino and Yotsuba Nakano from Quintessential Quintuplets, and Emilia from Re:Zero, or Megamin if your tastes are a little sus. A relatively safe ensemble, and they do an absolutely splendid job at bringing these characters to life and make the show that much more entertaining. The composition for the show was done by Keiichiro Uchi, and the music here is actually surprisingly decent, while fitting thematically with its joking and slapstick charm. It even in some cases takes inspirations from westerns, so take of that what you will. Apologies for not being able to show it here though, because it's a currently airing show, so the OST isn't out yet. His other notable works include Adachi to Shimamura, which has a much more laid-back and emotional feel, which I'll just play for you now. And of course, you've guessed it, Quintessential Quintuplets, which has a similarly light-hearted and feel-good vibe to a lot of its tracks, especially its main theme. It's poetic really that this anime is done by the studio and composer and some of the voice actresses of Quintessential Quintuplets, as the mangaka actually wanted to create a manga that was inspired due to that one, due to its controversial ending. I'll leave the source for that in the description. Everything about this show oozes of a less serious QQ, and chances are that if you enjoyed that, especially its first season, and need something to fill in the void whilst you wait for the movie, then I think Girlfriend might just be for you. Whilst a harem show, it does balance that and being a parody of essentially itself to create some genuinely entertaining hijinks, and I think that's refreshing in the best way possible, reminding us not to take anime and harem so seriously. I'm not the biggest fan of the genre, but I find myself excited every week to see what crazy events await our bland but albeit fun archetypal characters, and I think you might too, and that's why I think you should consider watching Girlfriend. Thank you very much for watching. I definitely tried a little bit of a different format with this video due to it being a seasonal anime, but I might be more open to creating something similar in the future if you all enjoy it. I don't see a lot of people at the moment talking about this show, which is a shame because I think there'd be a lot of people who would genuinely enjoy it. This video was actually much easier to make for me, but it got a little bit delayed between my newfound addiction to Melty Blood and I was also preparing the script for the next video, so don't blame me too much. If you do like these shorter, less seriously edited videos, please do let me know in the comments. And finally, I'll do the YouTuber thing where I pull up the statistics and say that you should subscribe if you want to see videos or something. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you later.
Погибает на сцене, снова